The election campaigns leading up to Tuesday's vote reflected the divide between labor interests and the business community. With me to look at the roles of labor and business in San Diego's races is political scientist Carl Luna. Carl, these are tough economic times. So what impact did the recession have on this competition between business and labor on the ballot on Tuesday?
Well, a lot of people out there are losing their jobs and losing their houses. They don't have the money in the bank they used to. You saw their apprehension to have any more taking out in the defeat of bond propositions and city and taxes. In labor, there's a bit of schadenfreude going on. You've got people who were in the labor unions who are getting benefits. They're getting retirement. A lot of people don't have that. They're not going to be as generous to allow labor to keep that with the ongoing budget negotiations.
So that helps to create a tension there.
Yeah, and you got to remember, we all wear several hats. We're all consumers, so we want prices low and services high. A lot of us are workers, but not a lot of us, I am in a union, a lot of other people aren't, don't have those protections, so they wonder, why do these guys get better pay and better hours, better benefits than we're getting?
All right, so what we saw during this particular election was that Proposition A passed handily, and that would have banned, or will ban, project labor agreements or union-scale wages for county projects. The same kind of thing also won in Chula Vista and Oceanside. Why is the public supporting these bans? Again,
it's the perception that somebody's getting more than me, therefore we should roll that back, particularly when it's being paid for with public monies. Now, at the county level, you have a Republican-controlled Board of Supervisors completely. Those sorts of projects weren't being awarded anyway, but it was symbolic, and it's setting up probably to see something similar like that moving to the city of San Diego as part of the 2012 campaign, the mayoral races, and all the other good stuff coming up.
But it's going to be really interesting because the San Diego City Council at this point are 6 so-called labor-supported members of the council and 2 so-called business-supported. And now suddenly we are going to have 3. Lori Zapp was elected.
And that was a sign, again, that the Democrats, labor, that side of the spectrum, are doing poorly at this time because people are hurting, and they don't think it's fair for other people to be getting a bigger share of the pie than they do.
So you really think this really has to do with Democrats versus Republicans rather than perhaps the power of labor diminishing?
It's a combination of all of that. I mean, labor and Democrats tend to go together, Republicans and business, though it's not always across the board. What you've seen, though, in San Diego is with a bad budget that's been going on for a decade. We're 10 years into this mess. You have the problem that the city budget's in bad shape. You're going to have to do cuts. And the only way you're going to cut is to take something out of labor because that's where a lot of the money goes. So, yeah, in this election, the power of labor wasn't what it was in past.
And so is there a titanic struggle going on between labor and business to control local politics?
No, in San Diego, nothing's that titanic. I mean, everyone's going to go have margaritas later on in the afternoon. But, yeah, that's one of the major fault lines. At some point, the labor interests are going to be asked to give up a lot more than they're currently giving up to balance the budget. And the fact that they didn't do as well in this campaign, particularly that Donna Fry's seat swung to the Republican side, the business side, is a sign that they may not have the power they used to.
But something interesting happened in this election. It was the Proposition D. Supporting Proposition D was a coalition of labor and business. They came together. Can we expect that to happen again in the future?
Until the economy gets better, I think Proposition D was a unique outlier because things can get very dire for the city now. Now everyone's going to retreat into their more parochial camps to protect their own interests, labor with the ongoing negotiations for the budgets coming up, the business community wanting the city to be more generous in developing downtown. You had that late night deal to develop the Chargers Stadium, and the general public just wanting to see more money in their wallet and less going out for declining services.
All right, well, in the city of San Diego, Proposition D, of course, having failed, the city of San Diego is going to have to scramble to figure out what to do in order to bridge the budget gap. And Carl DeMaio represents business interests, has come up with his roadmap to recovery, which means cutting pensions, cutting retiree health care, and that kind of thing. Is that going to fly?
Well, that has to be subject to negotiations, and the employees' unions are going to fight it as much as they can to protect their membership. So before all that gets done, there are going to be reductions to other areas of public services.
But you said that the public may not necessarily be sympathetic to the cause of labor because people in the public may not be getting the pensions and the steady income.
Yeah, the public's less sympathetic to the labor unions, even though most people in the public are laborers. They're not that sympathetic to business interests. They're not going to want to see a new Charger Stadium built for the most part.
Not.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to, not with the current economy and the problems that you have with it. And they're tired of the fact that they pay their taxes and services are declining. I mean, San Diego came in the top 10 for worst roads in America in a recent survey. We're kind of like the frog in boiling water, and that stove water has been turned up for the last 10 years. We may be at the point the frog is going to croak.
Well, thank you very much for ending on that note. Thanks a lot, Carl Luna.
Thank you, Gloria.